Today we're going to talk about the truth behind Xbox Game Pass and also a little bit of the service's future. But first up, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and share. It really helps the channel out. So Xbox Game Pass has been around for years now, and millions of people from around the world are subscribed. But people see value in the service because people have access to hundreds of games the second they subscribe. There's zero barrier to entry when it comes to new games. People have told me that they never used to play RPGs before Game Pass, and now they play RPGs because of the service, but they also buy new RPGs that don't even show up in Game Pass because they now like the genre. People have told me that they weren't even looking forward to Flight Simulator, and now they play it because of Game Pass. So there's zero barrier to entry to people playing new types of experiences. But you also have to look at people. People by nature are afraid of change, and everyone that has doubt in the service, they're just scared. And the thing is, every form of media has changed over the decades, except gaming. In the early 2000s, the music industry changed with iTunes. The book industry changed when it came to ebooks, and in the early 2010s, the video home industry changed because of things like Netflix, Prime, and Disney Plus. But the thing is, video games never changed. But you have to look at this new generation, and especially in the UK and other places around the world, video game prices have almost doubled across one generation. In the Xbox 360 generation, I was paying £37 for a brand new Call of Duty game, and now games are going up to £70. So people inherently see value in Xbox Game Pass. Why? Because it offers value. I've seen people contemplate what the word value means. That's preposterous. It makes no sense. You have to look at things like EA, one of the biggest gaming corporations on the planet, clearly see value in the service and the consumers subscribe because they have their games in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. You have more games added so consumers can just play them. You have access to things like discounts and the perks and the Xbox Game Pass rewards. Like, the list goes on. So on the consumer side, it's nothing but good news, and developers behind the scenes make deals as they should. Some developers get paid up front, some get paid over time. It changes over each deal. But the thing is, on the consumer side, there's nothing for anyone to worry about, neither on any other side. And you also have to look at more types of video game experiences like Warhammer 40k Darktide that launches next year, day one Xbox Game Pass, and guess what? That's a community driven game. So a game like this that needs co-op communities, it's going to have a huge audience day one. You're going to have things like Stalker 2 next year that, let's face it, most people haven't played an immersive sim FPS horror game. Well, zero barrier to entry for people subscribed to Game Pass. So you have millions of people that are going to have access to these community driven games and new types of experiences and things they haven't played before, and continue playing what they love. But they're also going to have access to big things day one by Microsoft. We have one of the biggest games coming out this year, Back 4 Blood. That's going to be launching day one on Xbox Game Pass. That has co-op and PvP, and it requires a large player base to play over a long time. Well, congratulations, it's going to have a huge player base day one because of everyone subscribed to Game Pass. And the thing is, people still buy games that are in Game Pass. But the thing is, people get money off with the 25% discount, so you are encouraged to buy a game because it will eventually leave when it comes to third-party games. So it benefits the developer, it benefits you because you get to keep it in the long run if it leaves. So no harm, no foul. But the truth is, like I said, every media has changed over the years. The gaming industry is going to continue to change. But there's nothing wrong with change. People freaked out when game manuals were removed from game cases. People were freaking out when things like DLC and expansions and map packs became a thing on the video game console stores. But the truth is, it's okay for these things to change. It's okay for new business models to exist, because the thing is about Microsoft, they are Microsoft. People like Nintendo because they're Nintendo. People like Sony because they're Sony. People like Steam because it's Steam. I like Microsoft because they're Microsoft. They do Xbox because they are Xbox. I don't want Xbox to be like one of the other companies because they are already doing it. If I want more of the same, I'll just go there. The truth is, the video game industry is huge and we have access to many different games on different pieces of hardware in different ways. And that's a good thing. And there's nothing bad for that. And we just came out of a weird year in 2020 where we also had new hardware release. So if people bought an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S, congratulations. If you subscribe to Game Pass, you have a huge library day one. Ready to go. But if you've noticed by everything I've said in the past few minutes, on the consumer side, it's constantly beneficial. More games, more services, perks, Game Pass reward quests, and you get to spend those points you make on Game Pass rewards on more games, services, DLC and hardware. So companies are benefiting by you earning points via Xbox Game Pass, and the list goes on. So there's nothing wrong with people playing games in different ways. And now Xbox Game Pass is on many different devices. If you've got an Xbox One, you're good to go. Xbox Series console, good to go. xCloud, PC, and they're probably going to be coming out with some streaming sticks soon. Different ways into playing the game isn't a bad thing. Now, people blaming Game Pass doesn't make any sense because the service has been around for years. We hear things like Outriders sold brilliantly well day one. Square Enix talking about how well it did the first week. And then now, it's a bad thing? It doesn't make sense. And frankly, I don't like to entertain the notion that a service that benefits people is bad. Because it wouldn't have been around this long if it was bad. But personally, I think Game Pass offers value. Because that's true. There's hundreds of games in there, be them horror games, RPGs, first-person shooters, the list goes on. There's nothing wrong having access to a lot of games with a small price. And we all know that when eventually other companies adopt a similar business model, tunes will change and these stories will go away. More content coming out shortly. My process of making videos has became a lot quicker, so I'm going to be able to get multiple videos out a week soon. And also the podcast. Now the podcast I've put off for a long time because I didn't want to start it until I knew I can get it out consistently on the same day, same time every week. And considering I have an extremely busy weekend ahead, I'm going to try and have the information out on Monday. So follow me on Twitter. Again, the link is in the description down below. I've been looking forward to doing this podcast. I want to have people from across the industry on and other people that make content because I think gaming needs to be talked about more in a positive light because gaming is extremely positive and more people need to celebrate it and gaming should be celebrated more. Anyway, like I said before, if you enjoyed the video, please hit like, share and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. I'm out. I hope everyone has a good day. Peace.